Okay, guys, let's look at the last question of this lesson called more or less. So it says match each situation with the diagram. The diagram may not have a match. Okay. Also, I want to point out that you could be able to use a diagram for more than two situations or more than one situation, so shall I say. All right. So here's the situation. It says Han ate X ounces of blueberries. May ate 1/3 less than that. So let's look at the tape diagram A. When I look at A, right, Han would represent X, correct? The amount that Han ate would represent X. And May represent Y because that's the only other variable. All right. So when I look at the diagram, A is broken up into fourths. Well, we're dealing with thirds. So even though you see 3 highlighted blue pieces, that still doesn't simplify or show 1/3. It actually show 3/4. So I'm looking for a fraction that's going to show 1/3. So it has to be out of CRD. Now, remember, Han is X. So that could be X or that could be X, but they say May ate 1/3 less than that. Well, if May is Y, it wouldn't be D because D is way less than 1/3. So the most correct choice would be C. For the second one, it says May bike X miles. Han bike 2/3 more than that, right? So if May is now X and Han is now Y, well, which one is showing that somebody hiked 2/3 more? If you guess B is correct, why? Because if Han is now Y, and let me write a little bit more neater than that because that doesn't look like Han. That looks like chicken scratch. All right, so Han is Y, and then he hiked 2/3 more than that. Well, this seems to be 2/3 more than X, so it would be B. So then it said Han bought X pounds of apples. May bought 2/3 pounds of that, which Han is back being X. Now, mind you, we're still dealing with thirds, so we're not using A, seems like it, okay? Because that is broken up into fourths, right? So, May bought 2/3 of the X value. So, we're back to either C or D. So, believe it or not, right? Y is representing May, but this is representing 1/3 of X, right? So it would have to be C. Okay, why? Because 1/3 less is equivalent to 2/3. All right, it's just be worded different or wrote differently. Now for part C, it wants you to write, it says for each diagram, write an equation that represents the relationship between X and Y. So let's look at diagram A. Let's see what Y is equivalent to, and let's see the value of X. Now, X would be 3 out of 3. Let's just say X is 3 out of 3. Okay? Because that's the value of X. But Y is 1/3 more than what X is. Okay? So we'll have to add that together, and Y will be actually equivalent to 4/3 of X. Why? Because X in this case was 3 out of 3. Now let's look at part B. Part B, X is actually still 3 out of 3, but Y is actually 2/3 more than that. So this is 3 out of 3, and Y is actually 2/3 more than that. So it will be Y is equal to 5/3 X. So then for part C, Y is a little bit less than the value of X. So how many pieces is Y equal to of X? If you guess Y is equal to 2/3 of X, you are absolutely correct. All right. Now, and last but not least, How many pieces is y equal to or equivalent to for x? I'm circling this. Y would actually equal 1/3 of x. 1/3. All right. So then for the last part of the lesson is asking you to write a story for one of the diagrams that doesn't match, which would be either D or A. So I want you guys to study these stories right here. And I want you guys at home to create a story for a diagram that doesn't match. Now, keep in mind, this is the last problem of the lesson. So just a friendly reminder, there's homework tonight. And I want you to remember to do your cool down. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Bye, guys.